На урок створює безмежні можливості для обміну досвідом між освітянами. Наші вебінари та конференції – це понад 150 годин прямих ефірів для самоосвіти від кращих педагогів-практиків України. Бібліотека на урок – це база якісних авторських розробок, що є безмежним джерелом натхнення для вчителя. Журнал на урок – це цікаві та корисні статті, актуальні методики і дієві прийоми для професійної творчості. Інтерактивні онлайн-тести – це зручний інструмент сучасного вчителя для залучення учнів до активної роботи в класі та вдома. Безкоштовні конкурси та олімпіади – це доступні та цікаві завдання для кожної дитини в будь-якому куточку країни. Олімпіади більше не привілеї для обраних, а інструмент мотивації до навчання. Ми віримо в кожного учня. Приходьте на урок, адже разом з вами ми працюємо для формування розумного і успішного покоління.
Доброго дня! Сьогодні ми поговоримо про корисні онлайн-ресурси, які можна використати під час підготовки до уроку. І для початку перевіримо зв'язочок. Якщо мене добре видно і чутно, дайте, будь ласка, відповідь на таке запитання у чаті. Чи користуєтесь ви онлайн-ресурсами під час підготовки до уроку англійської мови? Якщо так, поставте, будь ласка, плюсик у чат. Так. Так. Дякую. Звісно. Так. Ну, я так розумію, що мене добре видно і добре чутно, тому можемо починати. Звати мене Анастасія, прізвище моє Шамрай. Тут є моє невеличке біо, можна дещо про мене почитати, про мою вчительську кар'єру. Так. І сьогодні я розкажу вам про ті онлайн-ресурси, якими я користуюся у своєму вчителюванні. Я працюю у комунікативній методиці, тому спеціально добрала ці ресурси, які добре відповідають цій методиці, скажімо так. І спочатку я розкажу трошки про ці ресурси взагалі, і потім продемонструю деякі сайти і розкажу трошки про те, як можна використати ці матеріали під час уроків англійської мови. І наприкінці вебінару у нас буде час для відповідей на запитання. І почнемо ми з двох таких ресурсів, які допомагають викладати вокабуляр для дітей. І тут я вже переключаюся на англійську мову. So, flashcards and worksheets for kids. The good thing about these resources is that they are free. You can easily download flashcards and ready-made worksheets to work on the same vocabulary sets as are on the flashcards. So I'll demonstrate them for you first. So the first one is called messenglish.com. And at the top here, you can see these buttons. So you press on flashcards, and on the left-hand side, you can see a bunch of vocabulary topics that so that you could click on. Let's say click on a classroom set. So here you're going to see classroom set 1, and down there will be classroom flashcard set 2. which means that there are two separate sets. For each set, there is a set of large flashcards. They are A4 format. For some sets, there are also medium flashcards, which are smaller and probably more convenient to print them out. And there are small game cards and bingo cards, so you can see the full list of things that you can use with this particular set of flashcards. So let's try and click on one. So classroom, that's the beginning of it, and they do not have words on them, which could be a positive thing for a matching activity, for example. If you print your own word cards, just word flashcards, so your kids could match the pictures with the words on the floor or sticking them to the board. So a pencil and a pen and all sorts of things. So the list was right here of the items that you're gonna see. So these are huge, as you can see, but for example, for this set, there are smaller. Oops, this one is not there. This one's unavailable. So we could go to, say, hobbies. And there we could try these medium flashcards, which are smaller. Although there are these little pictures on each worksheet. So basically you get just two flashcards and two pictures that you do not need. So that's quite impractical. But if you can operate PDFs, I guess you could do some copy pasting to avoid printing out the unnecessary pictures. I guess that's possible. So anyway, and another thing you could do with this website is go to worksheets and oops, better go back to flashcards. So I've sort of, it's not the right thing that I'm doing. So you could make these custom worksheets to match Mass English vocabulary sets. Just here, there is a crossword maker as well and bingo boards. And one more resource here is ESL Kids, which is quite similar to the one that we've just looked at. So you could go to flashcards again, and you could choose which animation type you like better. So we could go to classroom here, and here you've got PDF sets for classroom, so small flashcards with words, without words, and large flashcards with or without words. So we could press on these large flashcards and see these are a bit more convenient because they're half the A5 format. And you've got the words here, so you can just cut them off, and that's a ready matching activity for you. Although I do prefer the animation of Mass English better for some reason. So, and there you could go to worksheets as well and see weather word list theme, that's weather, or you could choose another theme here. Let's go to classroom as well, and then you click on new random list below, and so the program makes the list for you. So paper, and oh, somebody's saying that they can't see very well. Oh. So paper and markers and ruler and pencil case and all that. And So you could customize. So you could make changes yourself to this list. For example, you would like glue here instead of paper, and then use these words, and the website just makes a bunch of worksheets for you with these words. For example, a writing practice sheet where you have the tracing activities for younger learners. So you could go, press go, and there we go. So glue and markers and rulers, that's the tracing, the writing activity. Then tracing, another tracing worksheet, trace and match. So here are the words, and then the kid just matches them up with the pictures, and you easily print out these activities, and they could help out in practicing certain vocabulary items. So there's a good range of activity types, just as I said, and Так, продовжуємо. Ось я зі свого слайду в презентації я просто скопіювала текст у цей прямокутничок. І що ми маємо? So what we can do here is we type in the word, we make the space, and then we type in the clue to the word. After we're done, so I've put 8 words on this crossword. You can put as many as you would like. And then we just press create my puzzle. And so it makes the puzzle for you. Here are the clues. And you could give it to your students as homework, for example. And you could make the clues as simple as possible. And one more thing, if you for some reason dislike this particular way it created the puzzle for you, you could go back and press it again, and it's going to make a new one for you. And you could do that until you like the layout and until you like the ratio between the words across and the words down. So it's all up to you, and the program can make multiple options for you. So, and you could also, like this is the crisscross puzzle, and you could also go to the word search, and in a similar way, it's going to make the word search for you. And what do I do? Whatever. So if we return to the previous one, I will remind you of a resource called halfacrossword.com. Absolutely amazing website, in my view. What do I do? Oops. No, it wasn't the right one. What do I? Oh, slideshow. This way. So we'll go to halfacrossword.com. For this one, the registration is necessary. Oh, so I'm logged in here. Wonderful. But generally, you have to register, and you will enter your email account and your password. And once you've done that, you'll press Make a Crossword. And here, it's got an example for you of a fruit crossword. So we could add a couple more words. We've got banana, lemon, pineapple, and kiwi. I'm going to add, for example, orange. So you type that in and press Enter button, and it adds up to the list. Or you could, for example, if you just like the fruit crossword and you want to catch an equipment crossword, so you just press on this cross and the word is gone. So you could delete all the words here and enter your own ones. But we're gonna enter this banana here and apple. Oops. And what else? Pear and peach. Let it be. So we've got 8 items on the crossword now. And then you click on this here, preview and print. And the program makes a half a crossword for you. You probably know the activity very well. So your students work in pairs, and student A has got this copy and student B has got the other copy. And what they do is they create their own clues to each word that they have got, and then they explain the words on their part of the crossword to their partner so that their partner can guess the word and write it down into their crossword. The convenient thing about this website is that it makes the ready for printing PDF copies for you. You can download this, pressing this button, and the PDF file will be available to you for printing, and you don't have to do anything else practically, which is great, isn't it, for a busy teacher. Right, and again, if you dislike this particular layout, you click on the website again and press the preview and print one more time, and it's going to give you the new version of the same crossword, just if this layout feels better, for example. So, again, free, but registration required here. The Discover Education, the previous one, registration isn't required. Just go and use it straight away. These resources are here to practice listening. So I'll press on that. And we go to listenaminute.com. This website works best for the students whose command of English is A2 or above. So that is about pre-intermediate level. And you can see a variety of topics here. So you can press on any. We could choose I know, family, or any other. We could choose like cars, anything. And all the lessons are organized around the same principle. So at first, here's the listening itself. You can press here, press the button.
listenaminute.com.
There it starts. It's gonna play the text you can see right below. You could play it separately from the text to your class, or you could give them the task of listening and reading at the same time. It depends on your choices and the particular goals of your lesson. And then there are certain activities planned out for you. So generally this looks like a complete lesson plan. So you could give the tasks to the students. There's the listening gap fill, where they listen and write in the words that they hear. Then they could discuss that in pairs, they could check their spelling, and so on. So here, there's the spelling activity based on the same listening text. So in some words, the letters are jumbled, and basically the students need to listen and unjumble the letters to make English words. Unjumble the words when the word order is wrong. They could do that after the first listening and before the second one again, and then they've done the unjumbling task, and then you play the track again and they could listen and check. There is an opportunity for the students to write down their own discussion questions and later on use them in a live discussion in a classroom. So the lesson plan is just identical for every topic here. I guess the only disadvantage of this website is that the quality of the sound is not always perfect. It sounds like a little bit old-fashioned or something, but it does not impede the understanding of the track. That's why it's more of a technical feature, but doesn't really affect anything else, just our perception of it, I guess. So see, there's another topic, say clothes, and again we can see the track, the text, that's the same as the track, and just the same activities: listening, gap fill, spelling correction, unjumbling the words, and discussion questions. Not something you could do every single lesson, but still an option once in a while, especially if the level is right. So why I started at the beginning with the statement that it's good for A2 plus is because the texts are about the same level of difficulty and use a good range of vocabulary and a good range of structure, so they will not work for beginners or lower elementary students. And there's another one. This listening website is listening practice for children, and this listening practice matches Math English. It was done in partnership with Math English. So what you do here, you could press 3 listening tests. They're not really tests or anything. You could press the same topic of classroom. And you will see 4 audios here. Simple vocabulary, where the speaker will just read out the words on the set. This is A or that's A, and the same vocabulary set, which is good enough for early elementary younger learners. Then what's this? And can I borrow? Can I have? So we've got some functional language here as well. and some STEM sentences for the students to practice certain situations. The same, it works the same for each topic you choose. Let's choose, like, go countries. There will be also the simple vocabulary, and then all the other audios will be slightly different, of course, depending on the vocabulary topic that we are looking at. Where are you from? Where did you go? What did you do? So different grammar items are practiced here too. Have you ever been to, which is quite complex already. Down here, there are some worksheets that match. Oops, there's a blocked plugin of some sort. But anyway, these worksheets work. I've checked that a few times. And they do match the lists on the listening tracks. So you could use one or another with your students. Easily just printing them out and using them in class. So, and this is my personal hit. ISO Collective. This is a sharing website. What I mean by sharing is that teachers just contribute things to this website. You can find thousands of worksheets on a variety of topics. There's grammar, there's vocabulary, there's anything you need. However, you also need to contribute. The website will ask you to do that at some point. You need to log in or register in order to use the materials of the website. So I'll just log in here. Oops, was not okay. Really? Oh no. There we go. So in the search box here, you could type in anything. Let's say present simple, why not? Present simple, like grammar or vocabulary topic you are currently teaching to one of your classes. And there we go. You will get tons of worksheets. I guess some of them could be paid. Most of them are free of charge. So here's the story using the present simple. You can download it just here. We go back. Here is a great worksheet. So practice all the forms. It says test, but oh come on, it could be anything else. So the S ending and underlining the correct option and like all sorts of tasks. And again, here's the friendly yellow, so friendly green arrow here to download. Again, some more exercises. Oh, so there are tons of exercises, and that's just the present simple. You could type in a vocabulary topic or possibly some functional language that you're going to teach or another grammar topic. A bunch of resources are available on this website. But at some point, it does ask you to contribute, like to upload your own materials, to develop something too. And the last resource I'm gonna show you today is this tour, because I don't know how to read that, but it's useful. It's a sharing website, and again, some registration is required. So I'll log in here. Right. So see, it says, hello, Anastasia. You've got 10 points on your account. At the beginning, you get, can't remember, 100 or 150 points. And then it takes off 10 points each time you use or download a book. So what you can do here is, in the search box, you type in a book. Let's say Speak Out. Speak Out. Speak Out is one of the starter tests, elementary. Now let's say students. Speak Out students. Students book. And here you can pre-intermediate students book and déjà vu, Speak Out pre-intermediate students book. You just click on it. So see, this one you can't do anything because of the copyright. But for some, you could still use the resources. Sometimes. Students book audio, students book audio, video, and students book PDF. So see, there is a download button. You can, but it takes off your points, so you can't download limitlessly. I mean, so you can download some, and you have to contribute something. Again. And the website actually tells you what to do, how to contribute. You could either say thank you to some of the contributors, so you could use the resources yourself. So the website guides you through this process, and if you do certain things on the website, then you could use more resources. So that's the point of sharing here. And that's all from me. Hope these resources, you'll find some of these resources useful, and you'll try to use the materials in class. And if you have any questions, I'm really happy to answer them. The link to the listening websites. So one of them is called here listenaminute.com. And the second one is this 1to3listening.com, which is for kids. And this one is for texts and lesson plans. Oh, Marina, not sure I can help you on that. Do not teach German. I'm sure there are resources. The speaking competencies. So, Anne, are you looking for some resources to develop speaking in particular? Because there are Oxford and Cambridge University Press and Pearson course books which develop all language competences. They do not develop speaking separately, but they do provide lots and lots of opportunities to practice speaking. If you're looking for a resource that develops speaking particularly as a separate skill, then you might want to look for it will be not a textbook, it will be more of a reading. That's what you mean. So you mean all the language skills. Then, so the one I was looking for, the Speak Out, I quite like it. And there are lots of new courses coming out. For example, at the moment, the new English file has come out, the 5th edition. It's very modern, and it provides an online practice too. And the Headway, there is also a new one. There's I guess it's the 5th edition likewise, just like the English file. And both of them focus a lot on all the language competences, on speaking, on writing, on reading, and listening. And grammar is taught as well as a separate aspect, but to contribute to the skills, sort of, not grammar for its own sake. I hope I've answered your question. That's great. I'm happy that you've seen some new resources here. You're very welcome. So thank you, everybody. It's time for us to finish, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye bye.
створює безмежні можливості для обміну досвідом між освітянами. Наші вебінари та конференції – це понад 150 годин прямих ефірів для самоосвіти від кращих педагогів-практиків України. Бібліотека на урок – це база якісних авторських розробок, що є безмежним джерелом натхнення для вчителя. Журнал на урок – це цікаві та корисні статті, актуальні методики і дієві прийоми для професійної творчості. Інтерактивні онлайн-тести – це зручний інструмент сучасного вчителя для залучення учнів до активної роботи в класі та вдома. Безкоштовні конкурси та олімпіади – це доступні та цікаві завдання для кожної дитини в будь-якому куточку країни. Олімпіади більше не привілеї для обраних, а інструмент мотивації до навчання. Ми віримо в кожного учня. Приходьте на урок, адже разом з вами ми працюємо для формування розумного і успішного покоління.
Доброго дня, шановні колеги! Рада вітати вас на предметному інтенсиві з англійської мови. І сьогодні тема мого самовиступу «Making Language Learning Meaningful». Отже, ми сьогодні будемо трошки робити такий мікс. Дискусія у нас буде і англійською мовою, і українською мовою. Побачите, на яких моментах, на яких слайдах будемо переключатись на українську. Там, де буде трошки про програму, саме про документацію, а в цілому будемо спілкуватися англійською. Одразу хочу попросити вас, якщо у вас поруч із собою мобільні телефони, будь ласка, тримайте їх поруч, тому що ми будемо з вами сканувати деякі QR-коди. Я розмістила на слайдах QR-посилання на певні ресурси, певні описи проєктів і так далі. І щоб вам не набирати потім довгі посилання, можна буде просто просканувати екран свого комп'ютера, якщо ви переглядаєте вебінар «Предметний інтенсив» саме з ноутбуку. Отже, розпочинаємо. Для того, щоб перевірити зв'язок, скажіть, будь ласка, чи чули ви коли-небудь від своїх учнів під час пояснення нового матеріалу таке запитання: а навіщо мені це взагалі вчити? Навіщо це мені потрібно? Чекаю на ваші відповіді. Напишіть, будь ласка, в чаті так чи ні. Були такі запитання чи не було? Так, і не раз бачу. Звісно ж, чули. І я не виняток. Особливо, коли розглядаємо на уроках певні такі складні граматичні структури, present perfect, for example, whatever. Нащо воно мені то треба, а чи взагалі вживають англійці такі граматичні структури, а можна взагалі пояснити мовою жестів те, що мені потрібно там чи не потрібно. Отже, сьогодні саме піде мова про те, як показати учням, що все, що ми вивчаємо, має значення, і де це все застосувати можна в реальному житті, так, щоб на уроки вони приходили зацікавлені і зрозуміли, що ті самі present perfect і past simple і так далі, це все цеглинки невеличкі, з яких складається потім величезне таке уміння спілкуватися іноземною мовою, без якого сучасній людині 21 століття неможливо практично існувати в нашому сучасному глобалізованому світі. Отже, декілька слів про себе, представлюсь. Мене звуть Ганна Дудіч, я вчитель англійської мови, працюю вже 20 років в гімназії імені Шевченка в місті Кропивницькому. Також я є заступником директора з імплементації STEM освіти, і сьогодні трошки покажу вам в своїй презентації, в своїй темі виступу, як можна англійську мову поєднати зі STEM освітою і які з цього будуть переваги саме для вчителів англійської. Також я є амбасадором багатьох освітніх програм, таких як Pen Pal Schools, Scientix, вчитель-експерт Microsoft і сертифікований вчитель NIARPod. Всі ці програмки вони дають можливість поєднувати моїх учнів з учнями з різноманітних країн, долучатися до спільної проєктної діяльності, і про деякі з цих програм також піде сьогодні мова. I will switch here into English from Ukrainian, sorry, and I will let you know what we are going to do now. So first of all, we will speak how to personalize our English class right from the start, from the first lesson when you meet your students, because whatever is personal becomes meaningful. Also, we will speak about connecting textbook content to real life, how to find a text in the textbook and turn it into something exciting and connect it with real life, show students that everything is connected. How to befriend with science and how to find the links, real links, between language arts and science, how to use phones, tablets, laptops, virtual reality headsets in the classroom, especially in our modern situation when we have big classes or big groups, or some classes are even not divided into groups. So you still want to make your lessons modern, innovative. You still want to use some technology, but don't know how to do it in big classrooms. So we will speak about possibilities now of doing it. And of course, some tips of how to boost students' creativity, how to let your students be creative at your lessons. I will show you some of the examples from my own lessons, and in such a way I will try to show you how to use practically all these tips and ideas that I'm going to talk about. So I don't know how it goes in your schools, but in our school, usually whenever a teacher teaches in the 11th form, and after 11th formers graduate, next year this teacher takes new students. Usually I take the students, the 5th formers, and I need to befriend these kids, and I need to show them that English is really fun, that English is exciting, and I want to bring element of surprise to my lessons. So in order to make language learning meaningful, I want to show the students that I want to listen to some information about them. And I start my first lesson with a new group with my favorite icebreaker, which is called M&Ms that can speak. All the kids love candies, and usually to my first lesson I bring a packet of M&M candies and some napkins, because sometimes when kids hold candies in their hands, everything can get really messy. You know that M&M's candies are of different colors. As you can see here in this picture, they are orange, red, yellow, green, blue, and brown. So first of all, I do not show them M&Ms. I ask my kids to guess what we are going to do at the lesson. Of course, usually they start saying something like, we are going to read, we are going to speak, or we are going to learn some new material, or whatever. And then I may ask them, what do you think? Are we going to eat some candies? And of course they will say no, because children do not eat candies at the lesson. Well, I'm going to surprise them. I take this packet of M&M candies and say, yeah, we are going to eat some candies now. On the blackboard, I write the following key. Orange means, for example, your family. Red means your hobby. Yellow means your free time. Green means your favorite lesson. Blue means your pet or favorite animal. And brown means your summer. And of course, these instructions can be modified depending on what is the age of your students. You can make these instructions more difficult, or you can simplify them. It's up to you. You can choose some other ideas, whatever you're going to learn about your students. Then I give instructions. I tell my students that each student will get one candy, and he or she will have to look at the color of the candy, name the color of the candy, and then say something, 1 or 2 sentences, or maybe a word if you have primary school kids, connected with the topic which is written next to the color of the candy. So if your candy is orange, you need to tell me 1 or 2 sentences about your family. If your candy is red, you have to tell me something about your hobby. Of course, I give them napkins, because otherwise hands will get messy and dirty. Then I will give them 1 or 2 minutes to think about the ideas. And then the student gives me the sentence about family, hobby, free time, favorite lessons, pets, whatever. And then after producing a sentence, he or she can eat his candy. If you have not a very big group, if your class is divided into 2 groups, for example, there will be like 15 students probably in your group. So you will have some extra candies. So after everybody makes up a sentence, you can distribute the rest of the candies, and the students will enjoy their just 1 or 2 minutes of free time eating their candies. So what have you done now? First of all, you personalized your learning. You made this learning meaningful. Your students told you something about themselves, about their preferences, about their hobbies, about their families. You learned some information about your students, and you showed your students that learning a language is meaningful, learning a new language, a foreign language, is interesting. And of course, the atmosphere, the mood at your lesson became really great. Then you can do some activities with them from your textbook, and they will be ready to work. They will be eager to work because the mood is right. So this is one of my favorite activities, which means personalizing from the start, personalizing your language learning from the start. We may use in our classrooms different textbooks. Some may use authentic textbooks. That is the case actually with our school. Some other schools may use our Ukrainian textbooks. It doesn't matter actually what kind of textbook you use. Of course, you may say it doesn't. Of course, yes, of course, I agree with you that it does. But no matter what textbook you use, you can modify it according to your needs. We have tried using different textbooks by different publishers. Some texts in some textbooks were just kind of imaginary texts, fiction, reading especially for the textbooks. Other texts were about real people, real situations, real places, but just modified and adopted according to the language level of the students. So I can tell you from my 20 years of experience of teaching English in school that students usually like the texts more, prefer the texts which are about real people or real problems or real places, because they can Google, for example, at home something about this person or about this place, and they can learn some extra information. We decided in our school to go a little bit further and connect textbook material to real life. And I will give you some examples of how it can work and how it can make your learning, your teaching meaningful. For example, the book that we are using now is Wider World, and in this textbook we found the text which was called Fitting In. This text was about students who immigrated to the United States of America from different countries. And they had to fit in, they had to adjust to some new surrounding, to new culture, to new environment. And after reading the text, there was a section, like a discussion question. What problems do immigrants face in your country? And how we make a difference in these areas. And the example questions, the example issues which we could discuss were culture, jobs, language, stereotypes, and tolerance. We decided to go a little bit further. And here you can see on your screens the logo of Penpal Schools. Penpal Schools is a platform, it's an online resource which provides you the possibility to open up the borders, open up the world to your classroom. It connects your students to pen pals from around the world who study the same topic. There is a topic on Penpal Schools website which is called Immigration in the 21st Century. So we joined this project, and our students were matched with the students from different countries, and online, in safe surrounding, in safe special online community, they could discuss the problem of immigration, how we see it in Ukraine, and how students from other countries see it also. And then later on, this discussion turned into actually a big project which we continued outside of our school. The project we called, it became bilingual, we called it «Життя іноземців в Україні, Immigration in the 21st Century, Life of Foreigners in Ukraine». We combined here online discussions on Penpal Schools website, and you can see a print screen from the discussion between, for example, one of my students and the student from the USA who are talking about the problem of immigration. And you can see a photo of the girl printing some ideas online. Then in our city, we have got such a situation. A medical university, Donetsk Medical University, moved to our city from Donetsk area, and actually they just replaced, they became the whole university, the whole community with students and teachers became internally displaced persons. So they were moved from Donetsk to Kropivnitsky. And a great amount of people in this university are foreigners, those who came to study medicine to Ukraine. And it is not their fault that they ended up in such a situation as we have now. And you can imagine how difficult it was for those foreign students. First of all, they had all those difficulties adjusting to the totally new culture, to Ukrainian culture. And then, in addition to these difficulties, they had new challenges to be displaced internally because of the situation that is going on now in our eastern part. So our students visited Donetsk Medical University, found the foreign students who study medicine there, and interviewed them. So they asked about the difficulties that they had while adjusting to new culture, how they liked studying here, what were their impressions of Ukrainian culture, and was it difficult or not to study in a new community, in a new surrounding, and etc., etc. Of course, we prepared the questions beforehand, and then we analyzed the answers and put them down on, we made some special analysis, charts, diagrams, and came up with the idea that actually we needed this project and we needed this communication, conversation, because we became more tolerant to diversity, and students thought that they really became more understanding after this project. Then we went even further. We found a local business in our city run by a foreigner. There is a mixed family where the husband comes from another country and the wife is local Ukrainian. They opened their small business, pizzeria, in our city, and we visited, the whole class that was involved in this project visited their business. We told them about our project, that we are investigating the problem of immigration and life of foreigners in Ukraine. First of all, we had a talk with the person who runs this business. We discussed what difficulties he had while trying to run a business in Ukraine, how different it was from his former businesses in different countries. Here we talked about paperwork and about all these difficulties which usually entrepreneurs have in Ukraine, and how he managed to overcome these difficulties. And then he gave us a masterclass in pizza making. So in addition to the possibility to speak English as a foreign language, as a language of communication, kids got even a little bit of maker stuff, which is very popular now, because they got the chance to do something with their hands, to make, to bake actually pizzas. And it was really great because you combine here language in real surrounding for real communication with some practical ideas, with some practical skills. If you want to learn more about this project, you can scan the QR code now, which you can see on your screens, and also you can have a look now at the project, because I'm going to open the link and you will see this way presentation which we made after the project was done. So here is the project as it looks like now on the Microsoft website. We connected here all, we put together here all our information, and we made it, as I said, bilingual. You can read about the project objectives, both in Ukrainian and in English. Here are the students, the participants. Interdisciplinary connections, English as a foreign language, history, historical reasons for immigration in Ukraine, geography, country study, ethics, STEM component, masterclass in pizza making, economics, and etc. etc. In front of our medical university. Now it is our medical university, though it is still called Donetsk Medical University. A unit from our book, from our textbook, which motivated us to start this research, to start this project. Some extra resources from British Council, which you can access here. There is a link here, Learn English British Council. They have some great resources on immigration and multicultural Britain. And now Penpal Schools work, the work in Penpal Schools community. You can see kids communicating online with their foreign pen pals. Some print screens from communication from online chat, the visit and the interview. Here you can listen to the recording of the interview. We do not have enough time now, so I will just leave it like this, and I hope that you believe me that here you can hear actually the interview, the recording of the interview with two students, and there was even one more kind of research done by our students. They found out that one of the biggest enterprises in our city, which is called Elvorti now, it used to be called Червона Зірка, it was founded by foreigners. And it became successful, and it still works, and it is one of the most progressive, one of the most innovative enterprises in our city now, though it was founded by foreigners. And the research that our students conducted actually on the development of this enterprise and our visit to the local pizzeria run by foreigners. You can see the discussion, the masterclass, English for real life communication, and motivation actually, making language learning meaningful. What I love most of all is summary and students' reflections. And here, if you scan that QR code, you will hear the students talking. And their reflection was that while working on this project, while doing this project, they learned to be more open to diversity, learned a lot of new facts about culture, traditions, way of life of people who come to live and study in our country. They understood that if there is mutual respect, both immigrants and host country can benefit from the process of immigration. Immigrants find safety, education, and better living conditions for their families, and host country will find new investments in intellectual and economic potential and will discover the whole new world of cultural diversity. That is what the students learned actually. I see the request to open the QR code. So here is the QR code now. You can open it one more time. Yes, you can scan it now and open it. Okay. I think that we can go on, and if you need this QR code later, the presentation, the whole video will be available, so you can watch it one more time and just get to know more details about the presentation. And we will move on now and continue about trying to connect language learning with real life. You know that to learn a language does not mean only to learn grammar tenses or some vocabulary or just grammar categories or whatever. Usually people need a foreign language to be able to communicate with other people while working, for example, or in future while being a member of a bigger team, while doing some important work. In our school, we tried to connect language learning and science. Such subjects as mathematics, science, chemistry, physics, and etc. This kind of approach is called STEM. And I would like to ask you to put a plus in the chat box if you have heard about STEM education. So can you please react so that I can see how many of you are familiar with this abbreviation? Have you heard about STEM education? STEM освіта. Будь ласка. Yes, I can see the pluses, so most of you probably have. So to keep it short, STEM is an acronym from the words science, technology, engineering, mathematics. If we want to make it a little bit wider, we can add letter A here, which will mean art. And if we want to include here reading and writing, we can use the word stream, where R will stand for reading and writing. The difference from our usual interdisciplinary approach is that in STEM we take an object of study and try to investigate it from the point of view of different disciplines. So in the center of attention is what we study. And then all the subjects, all the school subjects unite around this object of studying. And it works really great. And it shows students the holistic approach to education. And it shows students that all knowledge that we get at school is really interconnected. And in order to solve real life problems, you do not need separately chemistry, physics, language, art, or whatever. You need all of this knowledge together in order to solve some problems. If you have a look at the documents, here I will probably switch to Ukrainian. Якщо ми подивимось на концепцію нової української школи, ми бачимо там, що метою базової загальної середньої освіти є формування світоглядних орієнтирів, екологічного стилю мислення і поведінки, дослідницьких і життєзабезпечувальних навичок. Екологічний стиль мислення, дослідницькі навички – це все елементи STEM освіти. І випускник основної школи, окрім того всього, до чого ми звикли, ще й повинен мати уявлення про світобудову, знову ж таки STEM, бережно ставитись до природи, безпечно доцільно використовувати досягнення науки і техніки, дотримуватися здорового способу життя. Це все елементи STEM освіти, це все дотичні до STEM освіти моменти такі. Якщо ми подивимося на компетентності, які мають розвиватися в учнів, то тут, зокрема, є і математична компетентність, яку ми маємо розвивати і на уроках англійської мови в тому числі, а саме розв'язувати комунікативні проблеми, застосовуючи логіко-математичний інтелект. Це і можливість обробити інформацію, узагальнити інформацію, бути готовим до пошуку різноманітних способів розв'язання комунікативних навчальних проблем. Це і екологічна грамотність, і здорове життя. Багато наших тем пов'язані з екологією, тем в підручнику, програмних тем я маю на увазі. Багато проєктів можна також пов'язати з екологічною тематикою. Це і основні компетентності у природничих науках. І не дивлячись на те, що уроки у нас англійської мови, ми все рівно маємо розвивати компетентності у природничих науках і технологіях, а саме описувати іноземною мовою природні явища. Наша тема природа і погода, наприклад. Аналізувати та оцінювати роль технології в життєдіяльності людини. Це лише декілька прикладів, які можна навести в тому, як поєднати природничі дисципліни з англійською мовою. Якщо подивитися на програму, я виділила теми в кожному класі, які можна пов'язати з STEM освітою. В 5 класі це харчування природа, в 6 покупки харчування, в 7 харчування основи здоров'я, охорона здоров'я. У 8 стиль життя, засоби масової інформації, географічне положення, клімат населення України і географічне положення, клімат населення національності Великої Британії. Дуже багато тем в 9 класі можна поєднати з STEM освітою. Знову ж таки, природа і погода, засоби масової інформації, наука, технічний прогрес, професії. Тут можна говорити, зокрема, про STEM-професії, про людей, чиї професії пов'язані з фізикою, хімією, математикою, що є дуже популярним зараз. Here I will switch to English again, and I will tell you that on my lessons I use the rule, which is the 10% rule. I will explain you now what it means and where I learned about it. In 2017, I had a chance to visit a teachers forum called QDWA in Abu Dhabi, in United Arab Emirates. And there I was present at the masterclass conducted by Drew Kataoka. Drew Kataoka is not a teacher. She is an artist, but she conducted a wonderful masterclass where she showed how to combine language arts and science. She pointed out that, well, as an artist, of course, she was connected with arts, but she pointed out that arts does not mean only painting or drawing as we think about it. Arts mean music, drama, digital art. By the way, Drew Kataoka is very famous for her virtual reality pictures. Language arts, that is meaning being able to write something, to produce your thoughts and ideas, to put them on paper. So a lot of different forms of self-expression can be called arts. And this letter A in STEM, in abbreviation STAEM, stands not only for drawing and painting, it stands for all possible forms of self-expression, including all the above mentioned. So in order to show students that everything in this life is really interconnected, Drew Kataoka proposed to employ the rule of 10%. This rule means that if you are a teacher of science, try to connect at least 10% of your lesson, of your topics, with arts, language arts, painting, drawing, music, literature, whatever. If you are, on the other hand, a teacher of arts, like we are, for example, we are all teachers of language arts, teachers of English. So we have to connect at least 10% of our material, 10% of topics, or 10% of time at the lessons with science. That is, while learning biographies of famous people, learn about biographies of famous mathematicians, for example, or if you speak about famous people who came from Great Britain, learn about some famous scientists, for example, who were born in Great Britain. If you speak about what Great Britain is famous for, do not speak only about landmarks. Speak about some inventions which were made there. Speak about something which is connected to science, but also you will have to employ the language, of course, there. So this is the rule of 10%, and I should tell you from my own experience that this rule works perfectly well. Here is an example for you of how to connect language arts and science, how to make them meet. Several years ago, we made a project with our students which was called Eratosthenes Experiment. Again, you can scan the QR code and go to the homepage of Eratosthenes Experiment. Eratosthenes was a scientist in ancient Greece, and he was the first to measure the radius of the Earth. So this experiment, this project is conducted twice a year when day equals to night, and students are asked to reproduce the famous experiment when Eratosthenes took a wooden pole which was exactly 1 meter high and measured at midday the shadow from this pole, and then he performed some mathematical calculations where he put together all the numbers that he had, the height of the pole and the length of the shadow, and he in such a way calculated the radius of the Earth. Then when your students reproduce this experiment, you take a picture of your students doing it, and then you connect with other students from the other country who conduct the same experiment, connect with them with the help of Skype, for example, and discuss how you conducted this experiment. You use English, of course, as means of communication. And our students connected with a school from Turkey, and you can see the picture here. In the picture you can see students from our school to the left conducting this experiment, and students from Turkey conducted the same experiment. Your results, the results of your experiment, the mathematical number that you come up with should be very similar, because the radius of the Earth is just the figure which you should come up with. And after discussing the experiment, of course, students can discuss the traditions, the uniform, for example, because you can see that students from Turkey are all wearing uniforms. And the girls are even wearing hijabs, and probably it was in the place of Turkey which was closer to Syrian border, so that you can see that they are more like Muslim traditions, not European traditions. So, by the way, you can join this experiment in spring, because, as I said, this project is conducted twice a year, and the authors of the most creative photograph are invited, the teachers I mean, are invited to summer school for teachers, professional development summer school in Athens in Greece. So you have a chance to visit Greece even. So that is really great. Another example of connecting English with STEM subjects is our joint lesson of English and lesson of biology. We found out with the teacher of biology that two topics are very closely connected. In biology, it was evolution, and in English, we were studying the environment, protection of environment. And on the Microsoft website, Microsoft for Education, we found such a possibility that it was possible to connect to a Skype lesson, live Skype lesson with Dr. Jane Goodall, a famous anthropologist who spent all her life studying chimpanzees in Tanzania. And before that, we had a lesson of biology where students used different technology. They used VR glasses, tablets, stations rotation method to go to a virtual field trip to Gombe National Park in Tanzania, where Dr. Goodall's base camp is situated. They spoke about evolution, learned about this base camp, and brainstormed questions to Dr. Jane Goodall. Next day, we had a lesson of English, and we joined a Skype live session with Dr. Jane Goodall. And of course, after the lesson of biology, we were prepared already to ask questions about ecology, about the importance of such explorations, of such national parks, and why is it important for people to study, for example, chimpanzees, and how to help them, how to help different animals, what can we do to help animals in our communities, in our surrounding, and etc., etc. So can you imagine being able to ask questions and using English as means of communication and communicating with such a famous person as Jane Goodall? It was really extraordinary because this was a live event, and Dr. Jane Goodall actually answered children's questions. So they understood that learning became meaningful, not only learning English, but also learning biology, because they can find the answers to their questions from the expert, top expert. Here, during this lesson, we used the method which is called stations rotation. The peculiarity of this method is that you organize your class into groups, and at least one group in the class should work with online content. The rest of the groups can work with paper-based content. In our case, one group worked with a textbook, another group worked with VR headsets, and the third group worked with tablets. The first book worked with a biology textbook. They studied the content of the lesson. They learned about evolution from their regular biology textbooks. The group which used VR headsets, they went on a virtual trip to Dr. Goodall's base camp and explored all the objects, all the artifacts in the base camp. And the group which was using tablets went to a virtual field trip to Gombe National Park and saw actually the real park where the base camp is situated. If you scan the following QR code, you can see the report about another lesson which was conducted using stations rotation and different types of technology. Lesson of English. The topic was fashion and history. I will not go into details. You can scan it and you will go to my Facebook page, Facebook post about this lesson where I described everything and every station that I used there. And you can see that even having limited number of technology in your class and even having big classes, you can organize productive learning and make learning meaningful and exciting. I would also attract your attention to the necessity to connect your lessons to SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. Please put a plus in your chat box, in our chat box, if you have ever heard about Sustainable Development Goals. These are the goals which were set by the United Nations and which tell us that if we try to achieve all these goals by the year 2030, the life on Earth, no matter in what country you live, will become better. We will make life of all the people in the world better. So please Google Sustainable Development Goals. You will see that these 17 goals are very simple. No poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, and etc., etc. I will not name all of them. A lot of projects, a lot of international projects are connected now to Sustainable Development Goals. If you try to implement at least one of these goals during your lessons, you will see that you will find a lot of partners from educational institutions from different countries, because now a lot of people start thinking about doing something to achieve global goals. It means that goals are global, but actions can be local. You can take action here and now, no matter where you live, where you teach, and where you study. And the last thing that I wanted to mention here was unleashing students' creativity. As an example, all students like fairy tales. Most students write fairy tales. Most of you give students the task. So please make up a fairy tale or make up a story. These fairy tales can be global. I would like to introduce you Traveling Tales International Project. It is digital storytelling that teaches about global goals. So if you follow the link here on this slide, or if you scan the QR code, you will go to the homepage of this project. Different countries unite together, students from different countries unite together. They choose one or several sustainable development goals. Then students decide who will start the fairy tale, who will continue the fairy tale,
in the center of
and
Europe,
you will come up with a fairy tale.
in the heart of Ukraine, loves
an
the
example.
Inhul River. A lot of happy fish live in that river. I know one little fish. Her name is Fresh. Fresh is bright and beautiful. He can swim very well. Fresh has a friend. This is a turtle. His name is TikTok. He is very fun.
Okay, so I will stop here and I will tell you that that was just an example, the beginning. The beginning of the fairy tale was made up by our students of Taras Shevchenko Gymnasia. Then came the continuation by the students from other country. Then the middle part was done by the students of another country, and the ending by the fourth country. So you can see that students from different countries come together in order to produce the joint fairy tale, the joint result. And in such a way, whatever your students create at the lesson becomes meaningful, becomes exciting, becomes really personalized. So that was the last actually thing, the last tip, the last idea that I wanted to share with you. And now I am open to questions. So please, could you can put your questions in your chat box, or you can write your questions, or just moderator will write them on a special worksheet for me. Please, if you have any questions, I'm ready to answer them. Okay, thank you for your comments. I see that some ideas were new to you. I urge you all to have a look at Sustainable Development Goals and try to connect your projects, your topics, whatever you are doing in class, with at least one of these Sustainable Development Goals. And I hope that you found some nice and interesting ideas that can be used at your lessons. Thank you for watching me, and have a nice week, all of you. Thank you. Goodbye.
На урок створює безмежні можливості для обміну досвідом між освітянами. Наші вебінари та конференції – це понад 150 годин прямих ефірів для самоосвіти від кращих педагогів-практиків України. Бібліотека на урок – це база якісних авторських розробок, що є безмежним джерелом натхнення для вчителя. Журнал на урок – це цікаві та корисні статті, актуальні методики і дієві прийоми для професійної творчості. Інтерактивні онлайн-тести – це зручний інструмент сучасного вчителя для залучення учнів до активної роботи в класі та вдома. Безкоштовні конкурси та олімпіади – це доступні та цікаві завдання для кожної дитини в будь-якому куточку країни. Олімпіади більше не привілеї для обраних, а інструмент мотивації до навчання. Ми віримо в кожного учня. Приходьте на урок, адже разом з вами ми працюємо для формування розумного і успішного покоління.
Good evening, my dear fellow teachers. I'm glad to invite you to the last of our nice intense course of English, like basic principles of PBL today from me. And we will talk today with you, and let me introduce myself afterwards. So can you tell me please, do you think that using of project-based learning in the lesson is necessary? I'm just really wondering what's your opinion. And can you please leave plus if you agree that we need to use that, and please leave minus if we don't need it that much. All right, I will be looking at my phone sometimes because I need to see your feedback. Okay, good evening. Yes, yes, plus. All right. Okay. So, well, I'll tell you, like, project-based learning or PBL is actually like really nice to use in the classes with different levels, with mixed ability classes and everything. And before we get into that, I'll tell you who am I. My name is Євгенія Гонтар. I am the teacher of English in ABC School. You could see me somewhere in the webinars on this website and everything. And you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter and stuff like that. But let's get back to what we have. Today we are talking about the project-based learning, and we will talk about what are the principles, main principles, what are pros and what are cons of that, so pluses and minuses. Also, what are types of projects that we can run, what is project management for education, and what are some problems that we can resolve during the project running, and of course about some extra tips and tricks which are really useful for yourselves. I'm pretty sure that you will enrich yourself from the very beginning and it will be perfect for you. So let's start about that. What is project-based learning in your vision? That's my question to you, because a lot of people see it differently, and I would like you to tell me in the chat. So what is project-based learning in your opinion? So just about that. Okay. So you can see that there is a group of kids just sitting, just lurking about that. And loads of people are thinking that project-based learning is just like the group work during the class, during the lesson, where people are just taking some time doing some tasks and everything. But I'll tell you what, that project-based learning is actually a little bit different. It would look something like this. Most people would be confused about this kind of research and stuff. So here you see, like, it's a lot of errors, a lot of words like imagination, about structure, about reflection, about possibilities, innovation, something done by the group. Yes, that's true, and this is done. It's about delegation of the tasks. And as you can see from this wonderful chart that Grant Porter has provided for the website that I was using for, is actually like that. Sometimes it seems like it's too messy and there would be mess in the projects, I want to assure you, but this is always something that makes us work through. This is where we are finding ourselves in this vision. So Actually, if we talk about the project-based learning, this is when the kids or the students are given a precise task or precise question or problem, and they need to resolve it through their vision. So they're not given to themselves. They are actually guided by you, but a little bit in different way. So one of the universities which are studying project-based learning had given this wonderful quotation about that, a term like this teaching method in which students learn by actively engaging in the real world and personally meaningful projects. What I mean by this is that when we're talking about project-based learning, they have the problem, but every single one of them will have absolutely different vision on that. So that's what I will tell you. There would be a lot of different, for example, even if you see here in the picture, children are trying to film something, but they are all like directors. One has one vision, the other one has the other vision of the problem, and it might be the same pot that they have to just shoot in different angles. So I'll tell you what, project-based learning has lots of things to talk about, but most importantly, that we have to follow 7 golden principles of project-based teaching. Our main goal or our main aim for project-based is when we have to activate the knowledge of our students, their background knowledge, and their thirst to find new knowledge in that. Also, some kind of understanding of how they can use it in the real life, and of course that they can use these skills in future, because projects, let's be honest, projects are run everywhere. So in schools, at work, at home, in their private hobbies, lives, and etc. So as you can see, here we have 7 different ones, and we will start from the first one, which would be like designing and planning. Then we're aligning the standards, building the culture, managing, and everything. You can read, I will not read that everything. But all these 7 little steps, they are leading our students to the main role out there. They are leading ourselves to our students and ourselves actually to greater results, the ones that we can apply in the real life. So that's what we have to teach them as the language teachers, how to use the language in that term or in another term. I'll tell you what, that the next point that I want to say is about 7 main elements for project-based learning, not for teachers, but for the students to achieve the same goals over there. So we have to activate the knowledge, understand, and to get the success out there. I'll tell you that there are 7 also elements to that, and we have to prepare our students and teach them during the project, like how to reflect on different problems, how to voice their opinion, how to tell what is their peculiarity of their vision and everything, how to look for the real information, how to take a look through the public product, and etc. So, and also really important, and you can see that I highlighted it red, that we need to understand what is, or they need to understand what is the critic and what is the revision in this point, because without that there will be nothing. Without that there will be absolutely, like, the project will be useless, because they will not see the reflection, they will not understand where they could use it, and basically they will forget about that. That's why project-based learning must be memorable, and they must all meet these little standards that we have inquired in that way. So however, if we talk about the project-based learning as well, we will talk about some good points. So, and everybody is talking right now about very good points about that. Children are thinking outside of the box, they become problem solvers, they want to show their own opinion, and they feel unique, they feel needed for the society. They start working as the system. Of course, this is very tricky question, because different groups are working differently. So there might be very shy kid, there might be 2 leaders, there might be 2 anti-leaders in the group. So it can be absolutely different. And I'll tell you, like, they become explorers still. And if you manage them properly, so the project will be really successful, and it will be really memorable, so they will remember everything out there. As well, they will achieve more goals, they will not be afraid to take some risks again, but this should be done with the management. But this again are the good points that we can talk about creativity, about group work and pair work, using imagination and everything. But I would like you to tell me, what do you think are the negative sides of project-based learning? Can you please write to me in the chat, like, just your suggestions? Because again, as I told you, everyone can have their own vision, so don't be afraid. I'll be just looking through that and we will talk about this a little. Because again, project-based learning is very, very tricky, and it gives a lot of food for thought, I'll tell you, about what is going on, how people are perceiving the information and stuff. So let's get into that. What do you think are the negative sides? I'm letting it just to sink in. I really want to see somebody there. That students might be actually not working in the system, you could say, because they are trying really like that. Oh yes, that is very good one. Yes, that's a good point, that sometimes students might be not participating in that well. All right, yeah, and it is time consuming. That is really true. So when people are not participating, it means like we didn't involve them that much, or we can just delegate to them some other things there. But that's true, that's very true. Yeah, people sometimes don't see the final message. They don't understand why you have taught it. Especially this is obvious with the teenagers when they're sitting like that and they're talking like, oh God, I hate this. Why do we do that, teacher? And you're like, well, because you will need it. And they will, I don't need this or something. So it happens a lot. Yeah. Yeah, they cannot filter the information sometimes. That's why we are there, to show them how to filter it, how to perceive that and everything. Yes, yes, that's true. I agree with you as well, so that they don't know, they sometimes don't realize what is the information. They just like open Wikipedia and think that this is the nice source of information, which is nice, but it can be developed a little bit further. Yeah, so talking to different teachers, I figured out several negative sides of the project-based learning, which are actually, as you already mentioned, that it is really time-consuming. It takes some teacher preparation time, I'll tell you. And a lot of preparation is considered in the instruction side, because we have to instruct a lot, we have to talk a lot, we have to track what they are doing, and actually tracking the progress is a little bit difficult. As somebody already told, like it takes a lot of time. Yeah, by the way, projects can last very differently. It can last for 20 minutes project, it can be a week project, it can be a year project, it can be 10 years project, whatever. So it's absolutely different. It's up to you to decide how much time do you want to take. So, but we are talking about the class, so maybe I assume like 20 minutes or 40 minutes, or maybe like 2-hour lesson, 2-hour project would be all right for you if you can afford that. But tracking the progress is really difficult. Coordination by teachers. If you're lucky enough to run the project not alone, by this I mean that you have some teammate of yours, or maybe a colleague, maybe not even an English teacher, to help you about that. That would be awesome. That would be really great, because you would be assisted. That's the word I was looking for. They would help you, not just like, like bringing you a cup of tea, that also, but still. So they would assist you in your little problems. You might delegate them some little tasks that you cannot do at this moment or something. So it's a lot of work. And of course, if we're talking about Ukraine, sometimes it's not very available about the technology. But we will talk about this, how to resolve all these disadvantages and how to run the project successfully in your class. And as well, by the end of this seminar, you will get a link to the nice and ready 22 projects that I ran in my school and that you can provide in your school as well for various reasons and stuff. A lot of disadvantages run from bad preparation. That's what I believe, I strongly believe. And I think that if you want to run the project, you have to think about everything that can go wrong, that can go right, and everything. And that's where the project management comes into help. So I'll tell you, like, project management, it's not only in the education, it's more about the real life. Project management is everywhere. It is in the HR system, it is in the IT system, it is in the ministry system, it's everywhere, because everyone is running projects right now, little projects or bigger projects. For example, now Urok right now is running a big project of subject intense course, like for English for today. And project management is actually when you have to deliver every single task that you have set for yourself, and you have to complete it successfully. So, and today we're also going to talk about how to do that. Because project management sometimes can be very, very tricky, and sometimes you feel like this man in the picture that is doing everything and absolutely everything for himself. We have 4 stages of project management, and I'll tell you, like, there are always 4 steps, just 4 little steps. First of all, we always defined what is the project. Second of all, we go for the planning of the project. After that, we complete the project or do it or just like improve it. And last one is reviewing or reflecting on what have we done and what we can do better in that way. So, and as you can see, I hope that you might agree with me that on this wheel that students are seeing, like we do they review, define and plan almost like a little bit of time. So that would be like 3 minutes for everything, and most of the time they are doing it. So they take a lot of time to do, but they take little time to plan, to define, and to review. But one wheel cannot go alone because it will fall. It needs to have some guidance out there, and in this case, the teacher wheel is coming. So as you can see, our wheel is a little bit different. And we have over there something like we're defining a little bit more what we need to do. So we're clarifying, we're giving like a little task out there. We are planning even more because we try to anticipate what can be done wrong, what can go right, what can be improved, and everything. Of course, it is because we have a little bit more experience, but still, we tend to plan a little bit more, and you can see that because we're adults and everything. We do a little bit less, but we review as well a little more because we want to reflect, we want to improve for the next time when we're running this project once again in that way. So, but I hope that you can agree with me that actually 2 wheels, they still are falling down. We need something more for that, and that would be the frame. And on this frame is actually like co-managing. It's like really, really simple. If you, as a teacher, are a good manager, you delegate to the students lots of their chores and lots of their activities that they need to do. They are running their project on their own, but you, as a teacher, are the leader and you're leading them to that. However, without that, I'll tell you, like, you see that this bicycle is pretty simple, it's pretty primitive, but there is something missing, something like really, really important in every single project. We always have to have the question, we have to have the problem, we have to have the wheel, we have to understand what is the pace, we're giving the speed of our project, we're driving them, we're giving them some tools as the teacher because we are like co-managing with them. They are in the charge, but also we are in charge of that. So, and that is really, really important when we are talking about the project running. This may really, really simple to you, but believe me, not everyone realizes that. That's why it's in the shape of the bicycle. As well, besides that, everything, I'll tell you that there are more problems and more little details to that. And that would be that sometimes the challenge might be too high for the students. Sometimes the community and the school might not be supportive of your project or the project that you were running. However, sometimes it might be like not that challenging, and the school and community might help you, and you will achieve all your goals. You will get to the point where the people are talking. You will get to the point where children or students are achieving their goals. They realize why they do these projects. Again, when we are running the projects, it's not just like I can, or because I have free lesson, I want to run the project with the kids. No, there always should be the question why, and you have to answer it. Like, we are doing this project because we need to learn how to do the presentations, how to run the group projects, and all of this. So this is really, really important one. We have to go through the balancing of all this little thing. I'll tell you what. So if we're talking about the projects, so we have a lot of them, but there are 4 main types of them. So that's inquiry, design, debate, and expression. I assume that you all did these projects in your practice, and I'll tell you, like, inquiry, this is usually something like the Jeopardy or some kind of lottery or anything like that, and it's like really easy to organize. It's very fun. It can be like brain ring as well, so that would be kind of inquiry. Designing, when we have a problem and they need to find a solution. Very simple as that. As for debate, we talk about this like it's debate club, discussion club, anything. We have an issue, we have to run the position out there. They have to express themselves. If we're talking about the expression, this is more about perspective and performance. This is about what the children were trying to do in the beginning of the class, where they were trying to film the pot. You remember that? So, and these are just 4 types of different projects. Again, inquiry, design, debate, and expression. This is the basic one. My question to you is, which do you think is the best projects to use in your class? So you know your children better, and what would be better for you? I know that for my students, sometimes it's better to go for problem solution because they like challenging problems and they try to find the resolution to anything and maybe to invent something new. And also they like expression in themselves, they like to express themselves. But I wonder, what about your students? What do they do? So like, what do you think would be the perfect project for them? Whether it's inquiry, whether it's design, debate, or in expression. Expression, I see. Well, expression, it actually opens a lot of doors, I'll tell you, like to the students and to the teacher, because it has much more opportunities to express themselves, to go further and to see everything out. Yeah, so design, depending on the topic. Well, yes, I agree with you. It depends on the topic. However, you can run the design as well for like literature class as well, so for reading class as well. So performance is fun. Yeah, so, well, it's different ones. Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. Type depends on their age and level. Yes, so that's true. Everything depends on the age and the level, on the interest of this teacher, actually, because if you are interested in the project will be successful, I promise you. I'll tell you what, that there is no really good answer to that, because combination of different projects is the key to success. So for example, you can see that in the left picture, I was running a camp, and the camp actually has like so many opportunities for you to try different projects, like different, absolutely, like quests and everything. So that was kind of project about the expression. As you can see, they were trying to make their own submarine so that we can go down the sea. You can see the seas in the background out there, and it was really fun. They were doing it themselves and they were running it as well, so it was pretty cool. However, if you take a look at the picture which is nearby, which is ABC Family Day, this is about the science project that I was running there. The kids were given a list of different scientific substances like soap, as you can see, glycerin and some water, and they were given this tool to make big bubbles. Some of them were given cola and Mentos. Some of them were given different things, and it's not only about the camp. You can run this actually with your chemistry teacher, like extracurricular stuff there going on, and it's absolutely different. So I'll tell you what, like if we have 4 types of projects that we have, like inquiry, design, and everything, you can combine them differently, and it will be like the best for you. Why? Because it would be memorable. It would be the one that they will remember forever, and this is the one that they will always remember. You know, like in English we did yesterday math, and they will always be like surprised, math in the English, but they will remember this, and they will remember the math that you had given them. It's perfect. I tell you about that. So, and here I have another project that I ran last year, which is called Harry Potter Book Night 2019 or 2019. This was the official Harry Potter Book Night 2019 in Poltava. I registered on the Bloomsbury website for that, and we were organizing kind of this. My question to you is, what type of project was that? And just like in your opinion, what do you think we have achieved there? So was it inquiry? Was it the expression? Was it the debate? Was it the question? What was that? It's just like, I wonder how you assess this from one picture. Because you can see them, they were running and a little bit smiley and getting the certificates and stuff. So performance. Well, of course it was combined. I'm just wondering what was like connected, what were there. So expression, yes, that was, performance is like the end part of the expression, but yes, this is true. All right, so there was actually also the inquiry, I'll tell you, because we were there was the Kahoot or some kind of the Jeopardy for them. Also, there was the science project, so we were doing the butter beer out of ice cream and the lemonade. I don't remember, like we were doing it all together, and there were like Bertie Bott's candies, and it was absolutely different. So, but as you can see, in the picture, there are absolutely different ages of the students. So there were from the 6th grade up to 22 years old. And they were absolutely different levels, but they helped each other. They were involved, they were engaged because they really, really loved the project. I'm not talking about only like running it for an hour or two. This one took 3 hours, but it took months of preparation, as I told you. But again, the projects are really memorable, and if you make them in the right way, they will be developed perfectly in their memory. So, however, in every single project, I will never stop talking about that, there are some tricky situations, and we as professionals, we sometimes tend to just smile and say, okay, let's roll with this, this is fine. So we must not ignore the problems, because as long as we are ignoring the problem, we will not get the right outcome of the project. We will not get the actual thing that we need. We will not get the result. We will not get the knowledge in their brain for this. So that's why we have to always address different problems in the project. So we will talk about several of those, if you don't mind. And before that, can you anticipate what problems can happen in the project-based learning process? I'll let this little meme sink into your brains right now. So, and my question is really to you, like, what problems can you predict that can run? You already told me about some time consuming, but precisely during the project. Yeah. So yeah, there are lots of things that we have to address. And as you can see, this guy in the middle, he was really, really trying to find what is the problem in the project. And his colleagues or his co-workers were trying to tell him what is wrong with that. So and the other lady was even chewing there. Right. So, but I'll tell you, like, I don't want you to take it personally, because keep calm, you're the great teacher, and I want you to remember that. However, please tell me, what do you think would be like the problem? Can you predict any problems during the project that can happen in the project? Right, there are plenty of those. you will find, I'm writing right now the article on that, so you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, whatever, you go there, and I think I'll publish it on Uroku, about the problems that can happen in the class during the project run. Yeah, teamwork is poor, that's one of the biggest issues, and this is the main issue actually. But we will talk about three of them, so some of them. We will talk about, first of all, the project takes too much or too little time. And people will tell you like, I'm done, now what? What do you think would be, what would be the reason for that? A lot of people might tell that if the project takes too much or too little time, it means like the people weren't dedicated. As I see that some people are telling like some people are not participating, they have no common decision and everything. But everything out of this, like you are talking about, like the project takes too much or too little time, yeah. So we as managers, as teachers, we must actually enroll them to that. So maybe we can give them extra tasks. Maybe we can give them something like, can you tell me the vision of your favorite artist on this? And we'll go and rolling through that. Maybe you can add some more details to that. Maybe you can go through that. Because it also might take something like, like there is a very good analytic student out there who is doing all the ratio and he has completed the task and he's looking at you, what do you want from me? And the other group would be more creative and they will take all 45 minutes of just drawing and not speaking at all. So it really depends on the student, as you already told me, it depends on the topic. However, we must engage them a lot and we must really show them the way. So that's one of the solutions over there. Another one that we have, it always happens, I'm pretty sure it happened to you before, that project equipment has broken just before the event. I'm not telling you to do this, like smashing your keyboard into your, I don't know, like display or monitor, whatever it is there as the screen. Yeah, but I'll tell you, like this can happen a lot. In this situation, we must just look at that and we must take a deep breath and exhale really slowly, count to 10, not to scream at your colleagues who are trying to assist you, who are trying to help you. We can actually make them work something old school, like maybe drawing, or maybe going through some books, or maybe investigating the teacher, as I saw from one of my colleagues doing, and everything like that. So technology or equipment is not the most necessary part. You have to think like few steps forward. What if the equipment doesn't work? What if the person is ill, the one that you have invited to be a guest in the lesson? What if something goes wrong again? So that's why it should be like anticipated by you, predicted by you. You have to go through that. As well, I'll tell you, like, there could be different problems connected to this, but one of them is really, really important, and this is the bullying. But I'm not talking about the bullying of students between students. I'm talking that I have faced, well, not myself, but one of my colleagues, that students were bullying them during the project. And this is like really, really important issue. We address a lot right now the bullying against each other, so that there shouldn't be any bullying. We have, in our little city, we have a lot of seminars running on that in lyceums, in gymnasiums, in primary schools even. I know people are doing that. But when students are bullying a teacher, it actually is no good, because it means like they do not have respect for the teacher. They do not have any, understanding of the teacher, and they do not see his vision. They don't understand why they need to have this project, why they need to work with this. So that's why here, we as teachers, maybe we are assisting this teacher or something, we must try and show like the respect that we can give to the teacher and what actual outcome we could go for. And the only thing that we can do in this kind of situation is just talk and talk and talk. Communication is the key with the student, because as long as you talk, the communication is going, and you will understand eventually why this person was bullying him, and etc., etc. So these are just 3 problems, but there are much more which can happen during the project. But I'll tell you what, that there are some tricks that we can work with and that can help you a lot during the run. And if you take in like project not only for a lesson or even for longer period of time, the first and key is communication, as I told you already. And if you're running the project with your students, or maybe with your colleagues, or maybe with your colleagues from other cities, or with somebody else, please do the communication, but not only like talking face to face, because sometimes people might be talking to you like, oh, okay, so I want to talk to you about this, and the next day she would tell you like, I didn't hear it from you, you didn't tell me anything. Try to use the Telegram, or maybe you can write the Viber, make the Viber chat together that you can work through. And you can have a proof that here we were talking with you about this and this and this and that and that and that. If you're not into typing, you can actually record yourself. That helps me a lot. And again, if you're having like common chat precisely for this project, that would be perfect, because you have all the information separately, not confused with any of your other business that you can do with these teachers or students or whoever it is. Also, during every project, you have to have the sequence. I'm not saying that it should be like, today only the first thing is introduction, the second thing is that and that and that. You have to be flexible as well. You can take a look in the fourth point. And as well, you have to put the time in, but pretty much approximate. Why approximate? Because you never know how much time they will discuss this. Maybe it will take them a minute, but maybe it will spark like a wide debate between them. So that's why it might take like 5 to 7 minutes and you will have to stop them. I'm not saying just like stop them and cut them out. No, give them some time, because they need to feel like they are in charge and they are doing something good. They are doing something good for their health, for their knowledge, I'm so sorry. As well, you have to have plans B, C, D, Z. Just in case. I'm not saying like you have to write it down everything, like every single point, that this point is that, this point is that, this point is that. No, just in case, you know, like again, the equipment has broken down, what to do? The museum has closed, what to do? I know something has burned down there, so let's go on and research or something. About the technology, you have to make sure that technology is working for you if we are talking about the project. And as you can see in the right, like in the green part over there, so this is my favorite program that I'm using for everything. This is Google Spreadsheets. It's Excel, but in the internet. What's cool about that? You're using it on your laptop and it has the same functions as Microsoft Excel, but it saves automatically, and you can actually send it to your colleagues or to your students who are doing the projects where you have, like, for example, a checklist of all the tasks that they have to do, and they will see it, and they will also be able to edit it if you allow them to, or they will just see what they need to do. It's very, very useful, I'll tell you. And what is really difficult, and this is the last point that I wanted to talk about, is actually not trying to control everything, not trying to control every move of the student, every Googling of the student, every search. Yes, so they sometimes search for bad information. It is hard for them to search for it, but try to help them, but don't do it for them, because this is the point of the project, that they are allowed to do what they need to do. So once I was running a project which was connected to creating presentations. We ran a short course of IT in English, of course, and they got the topics different, like 10 memes that I liked this week and blah, blah, blah. And I thought that it would take about like an hour or maybe 2. I gave it 2 hours, but it actually took 3 hours because some of the students didn't know how to use the laptop because they were used to use the computer. So, and not trying to control everything and not doing the presentation for them is actually really rewarded them because they learned how to do it. They know what to do in that moment. In that way, I would also tell you that if you're working with somebody, I really, really recommend you to work with your colleagues, with your people who are around you, people who support you, as well as students are supporting you, believe me, because they really love the projects. They think that they are not learning, they are not doing anything, but that's the trick of a teacher. We are fooling them that they are actually not learning, but they are learning. Here is my favorite character, John Wick. Keanu Reeves, I'd go to hell and back for you. If you have a good team of the single-minded people, like with you, one-track-minded people with you, they will always support you. Your team has your six, it means like has your back, and you are unstoppable together. Believe me, if you find the good team for yourself, or you organize the team in the way that it works, it will be perfect for you. For this thing, I would like you to find, well, you will be able to scan it later, so you can find in your phones the QR code reader. It's in the Viber or somewhere, or you can just contact me on Facebook or anywhere. If you scan this, you will get a little form to fill in. So there would be for name, for your surname, what did you like in the session, what didn't you like, and in the end you will get 22 projects that you could try in your class. And it's actually a really cool thing. There is a list and there are some little notes from me, and if you're interested, I can provide you with some details about what to do. Maybe you would have some questions around that. This is really easy. About the QR coding and QR code quests and web quests, we have not the seminar over here. Well, but I'll tell you that I'm really glad that you have spent with me a little bit of your time, that you have listened to my speech about that, and I would like to see some of your questions, if you don't mind. Yes, so please follow the manager, and I'm waiting for your questions. Maybe you have some about the projects, about the project running, about maybe some principles about that. And we can talk about this, because projects are actually absolutely different. And I'll tell you, like, sometimes we are challenged in the deadlines to run the project. We can talk about the project that can be organized during the 5 minutes and it will run for 2 weeks. We can talk about the project that was taken like a week for preparation, or like in my case about the Harry Potter book night, it was taken like months of preparation, and then it was running only for 3 hours. So it really depends on what you want to have. It really depends on what project you want to and what outcome of the project. Always, please, always, my dear fellow teachers, always ask the question why, and ask it not from your perspective, because you are the teacher, you're an adult, you understand that. So, and you really need to get to that. So just like from their perspective. All right, so we have here, so instead of Microsoft Excel, I'm using Google Spreadsheets. You can type in the Google, like in the search bar over there, Google Tabliцы, if we're talking about Russian, or Google Tabliцы, and it's absolutely the same. This is like the internet, and after you have completed that, it can run down to, you can download it, and it will be the same Excel chart there. Oh, I'm happy that you liked this intense course there. The themes. Actually, this is, as I told previously, it depending on the book. If you are tied to the book curricula, and if you're talking about only the things that are happening, I don't know, like, okay, so today we're talking about books, and next 8 lessons only about the books, you can take the books. If you want to go for films or movies or whatever, so I actually try to connect it to the topics that we are working at, and what is interesting to you. And as I told you, like, if you as a teacher are interested in this project, they will definitely be interested in that. So I'll tell you, like, I'm really interested in robotics and mechanics and everything, and you know, like, most of the students are not, and I made them interested in that because they saw like how excited I am about that. So, but again, it was a lot of things given to us. So in the books you can take the curricula. So as for the topics, you can go for I know, your interests, and actually like the interests of your fellow teachers, the interests of your students. Why not? One of the students, actually, she wants me to run the project about the Little Prince, like with the literature project. Why not? It's pretty interesting. We will see how it goes, because we're talking right now about the traces of character. Who knows what might run out of this? So there are different things. Oh, you're welcome, of course. A lot of information. I know that there are lots of things to talk about and to listen to. Yeah, maybe some other things that you would like to talk about, to know about the projects, because again, the projects are endless and it's limited only by ourselves, and that there is a lot of things. So you're very welcome. It's a lovely method. Yes, I wouldn't tell that this is like for every single lesson, but it might actually be like a good part of the routine of yours. I really like this like little note that this is a method. Yeah, and you can use it aside with the task-based learning. You can use it with different things. And again, what I like about this is that it actually opens the kid a lot. It opens the student a lot in that way. And project-based learning is giving us a lot of, like freedom and the feeling that we did something, well, something significant, something that we can memorize, that we can remember in that. Oh, you're welcome. Yes. So, and if you need that under this video, like after the recording, I'll send a comment with all the links that you can read, with all the information that you can get for the project-based learning. It's really fashionable right now to talk about the project-based learning in the ESL, but I'll tell you, like, I tried it by myself, and that's why I know that it will work. So, and I'm telling you the points that I know that will work for you. That's why I really, really encourage you to find me and to find the form of that, and I'll give to you the actual list of those projects that are given. Yeah. So you're welcome, of course. Yeah. Maybe you have some other questions about what was like favorite project, or maybe least favorite project or something. Well, I'll tell you, like, I'm pretty much fed up with the quests. I don't like the quests. Well, I like the quests a lot, but I have like so many of them that I actually already like, I don't want to do any questing anymore. Maybe some kind of, I don't know, like, research and maybe like going to different stations and stuff, but quests like in terms of getting to know to know new topic and everything, so that's the way. For me, it's already, like, I ate pretty much enough of this. What if you have the opportunity? This is so fun, especially for the younger students. I mean, like for primaries, maybe like 3rd, 4th grade, even 1st and 2nd. You can even create some fairy tale quest for them. You can go for the quest like for teenagers, again, maybe some elements of quest. I'm not telling like running all the time, but maybe you have some checklist or checkpoints where they could go for, and maybe you can get the. And I really encourage you, if you're working in the state school, if you're working not in the state school, please go for the help of your fellow teachers. Believe me, if you ask them nicely, they will help you, and because they know that if they help you, you will help them, and this would be amazing. And I really, really would like you to encourage you to try the projects of your own, not to be afraid. Try not to, if you are tied only, again, as I told you, to the curricula, try to maybe think over some interesting idea, not just like drawing a poster, or maybe again, like in my case, like running a quest or something. Yes, of course. A very good question. Can we use such method in learning other foreign languages? Yes, absolutely. And I always encourage our fellow teachers to use it in German, in Spanish lessons, in French. It's a really great thing to do, because, like I would tell, like, this method can be used pretty much in every subject. And I was talking about this in our internet conference in April, that there is no limit only to the language. It can be also connected to the music. It can be connected to physics, to biology, chemistry. And again, I saw a very nice lesson. There was physics and there was biology, and it was all together. Children were doing, they were constructing the wrist out of the wood. Every little knuckle was created for that, and they had the wires out there, and they were moving a little bit by impulsing out there. It's pretty much you can use it not only for the languages. I can provide to you some links to the French and to German websites, which can show you like a little bit more information about the other languages. But I think, yes, you can use project-based learning everywhere, in every single part. Okay. As well as there are lots of things to work through again, but I think that the main principles, the 4 principles, that you have to define the topic, you're planning the project, you're doing the project, and you're reviewing the project. So you have to think about what is the outcome. Always ask the question why, because we need to know what would be the outcome. Because as you already mentioned, some of you mentioned that sometimes people are just not thinking about, they don't understand what is the reason or why. We have to answer that question why ourselves from their perspective, just trying to anticipate. All right, my dear fellow teachers, I'm really happy that you were here with me during this wonderful session, and I want to encourage you to go for different events that are provided by Naurok, because it's a really nice one, and I'm happy that you were taking part in this wonderful conference, like intense course, whatever. And if you have any more questions, please address me in the comment section, or maybe you can find me on Facebook. It would be even better. If I don't answer, it doesn't mean that I didn't see it. I just want to talk to you maybe a little bit more in detail. All right, so I wish to you the greatest evening and good luck. Good luck to you with all your projects. Waiting for your emails.
Наурок створює безмежні можливості для обміну досвідом між освітянами. Наші вебінари та конференції – це понад 150 годин прямих ефірів для самоосвіти від кращих педагогів-практиків України. Бібліотека Наурок – це база якісних авторських розробок, що є безмежним джерелом натхнення для вчителя. Журнал Наурок – це цікаві та корисні статті, актуальні методики і дієві прийоми для професійної творчості. Інтерактивні онлайн-тести – це зручний інструмент сучасного вчителя для залучення учнів до активної роботи в класі та вдома. Безкоштовні конкурси та олімпіади – це доступні та цікаві завдання для кожної дитини в будь-якому куточку країни. Олімпіади більше не привілеї для обраних, а інструмент мотивації до навчання. Ми віримо в кожного учня. Приходьте на урок, адже разом з вами ми працюємо для формування розумного і успішного покоління.